Are live now. This is Moshe, and I have with me Billy Anderson.
Hey,
Billy,
everybody.
hey Billy. Billy is a leadership coach. Is a speaker. Is an author of the book "Your Comfort Zone is Killing You." And Billy is actually was one of my leadership coaches 5 years ago. And I really like working with Billy, and he has really lots of smart ways to tap into yourself. So first of all, Billy, I want you to introduce yourself. Because I probably didn't do justice to you. So go ahead.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Yes, I'm a courage coach and a speaker, mostly doing leadership coaching like I did for Moshe 5 years ago. It feels like I would have guessed two. No, I would have guessed three. I would have guessed three.
Mhm.
But yeah, I work with people one-on-one. I work with groups, blah, blah, blah. The title of my book, Your Comfort Zone is Killing You. I find that anything that we're super, super, super passionate about in life, it's often because we used to not be good at it ourselves. So I used to not be good at getting out of my comfort zone, especially with in terms of being myself, being 100% my authentic self. And so that's a lot of what I help people now with leadership is just speaking up more, being themselves and sticking to their values. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's some of the things I want to chat with you today, and one of the reasons this came up is people already know I couldn't stop talking about it in the last month, pre-selling my book, The Resurrector, and that was something that was really, really, really out there for me. That was out of my comfort zone for sure. I didn't really sell stuff in my life before. I was always
Yep.
developing software, developing products, building products. Now I'm doing product management. I was in pre-sales, like a pre-sale engineer, so I was demonstrating the product and fitting it to clients' need and stuff like that.
Right.
I didn't really had to ask people for money or ask them to support me and stuff like that. And that was really something I wasn't comfortable doing. And then
Mm-hmm.
the book experience came by, or this opportunity came by, and part of it was I had to sell enough copies up front to show that there is interest and people are going to actually read it. So that
Right.
was really out of my comfort zone out there. And I spoke with my I have also a coach at the program at New Degree Press where we're doing that, and an
Right.
editor. And I spoke with them about it, and they say there are half of the people enjoy writing the books and not talking about it or selling it, and half of the people enjoy talking about it but not writing the books, which is
Huh.
interesting.
Yeah.
So it was more about the creative side, the artistic side of writing the book, but not so much about the marketing. So
Right.
then you purchased the book, and I was like, oh, if Billy purchased the book, that probably means there is something there. No, I'm joking. I mean, other people, I think 160 people actually supported me. So,
Amazing.
yes, and it just finished last night. So we are done with the campaign. Finally,
Congrats.
I need a holiday now, but
Oh yeah, that's
but
that's a lot of work. It's tiring.
exactly. But what I wanted to kind of ask you and how do you what and I want like tell people, how do you recommend people to get out of their comfort zone? How do people do it? I mean, I know the only way to do it is actually doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but what are I mean, and I read your book a while ago. I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
refreshers. Maybe that will be an opportunity for me as well to get a refresher a bit and see if I really applied it when I did it in the last month.
Right.
But how do someone get out of their comfort zone? Because we know it's killing us. We know that if we're not doing it, then we're not going to learn. We're not going to be successful. So how do you
Sure.
recommend people to do it?
Yeah. So first of all, it's understanding why it's important. Like we know, yeah, I'm supposed to get out of my comfort zone. Um, but the number one regret of people on their deathbed is I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And that's the part where there's the most value in getting out of our comfort zone is when it means that we're going to be more authentic to who we are. And
Mhm.
so Mark Twain once said, I can help anybody get what they want. I just can't find anybody who knows what they want. So it's not just about getting out of your comfort zone for the sake of it, though you can. It's about in a way that will get you what you want out of life or help you be more you. And so the first place to start is who am I and what do I want? And the best place there is, like we mentioned, is your values. And so people can do the free values assessment on my website. And then you've got the 10 things that are most important to you. And then those are 10 topics that you can use to get out of your comfort zone. Right. So for example, if one of your topics is adventure, right? What might courage look like with adventure? One of my values, your values might be family. What does courage look like for me, for family? So it's always tying being courageous with stuff that matters to you. That's kind of the most important part. And then just that it's baby steps. It's not like, look, if you want to do better at work, you want to get a promotion. In order to do that, you need to be able to speak in front of a lot of people. But speaking in front of a lot of people makes you feel like you want to wet your pants and throw up. Then what's a smaller version of that? So sometimes people think that courage has to be crazy, like I have to jump out of planes or whatever. It's like, no, courage might be telling the neighbor to stop letting their dog go to the bathroom on your lawn. It might be usually it's speaking up for ourselves, and it's like, you know what, I don't think I want to do that, or I've committed to too many things. I can't help you with that. It's a lot of the time it's putting ourselves first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and this actually resonates with on a few things. When we did the coaching sessions back when, the first thing we did was top 10 values, and
Yep.
I was like you mentioned on your website, there is this evaluation over there, so I just put here the link for the website so anyone can go there and check it out.
Perfect. Yeah, and it'll pop up. It'll pop up right away.
Right. But since then, I have actually those top 10 printed on the little card in my wallet. And I also try to share them with people that I meet, like not everyone, but when I started new jobs, I shared it with people and stuff like that.
Amazing.
And I will always look at them, once in a while to see, is it still valid? Is it still the right ones? And being creative is my top one, and it's still that. And
cool.
and it actually is very interesting because writing a book it's a very creative thing. Yes. Then I was about to start the pre-sale, that comfort zone of getting out of that comfort zone. I had to really think about different creative ways to do that, and I enjoyed doing that. So I enjoyed thinking about creative ways to try to reach out to people and try to find people. So the program that we're going through, with New Degree Press, has these templates, and they tell you can write these emails and send them on this time and whatever. But they also tell you try to personalize it. And they also tell you to create a list of like between 100 to 300 names of people that to send it to them. And I'm like, when I started this, I'm like, I don't know so many people. Where would I have so many people, right? But eventually, as time went by, I was able to think about more places that I worked or more places that I've been to, different schools and stuff like that. And I think on my list right now, I probably have 500 or 600 names.
Nice.
Yeah, so it just grew as time was going by. But every time I had another idea, maybe I can reach out to those people that I knew back when, or to these people. So that was just, and that's a part of, that's one of the things that people don't think about when they think about being creative. They think creative is just painting or drawing or something like that. But it's really, anywhere. So it goes to, like you said, being adventurous. Could be like, if one of the top values is being adventurous, you could be adventurous by doing other type of things that may not look like adventurous. Maybe it's not, jumping off an airplane without a parachute, but maybe it's just knocking on doors, and trying to do something, with people, right?
Totally. No, and it's important. I probably got you to do this too, is once you figure out what your values are, to define them in your own words. because it can be very, very different. And we get to decide what each of our values means. And something important that you touched on there is that when we're going to step out of our comfort zone, it's scary. So we start coming up with reasons not to do it. And the first step, if we're really procrastinating, the first thing to do, and you just did it, is how can I bring in one or more of my values to this experience? So if you don't, and you did it yourself, I wrote it down and then you answered it. If you don't love sales or you're not sure how to do it, then you look at your values, and your number one value is creativity. So it's okay, how can I make sales creative, right? Another one of your values, because I've got all your values still right here, is discipline. So you value discipline. So how can I bring discipline into this, right? Even for me, like if I've got to do my taxes for my business, I don't want to do that. And I'm a great procrastinator. So I go to my values and I'm like, okay, how can I bring fun into this? Or how can I bring connection? Like, could I do this in the room with another entrepreneur who doesn't want to do it? So the more we can bring our values into stuff that we're doing, the more likely we are to follow through with it. So I love that you did that with creativity.
Yeah, and you know what, you're right. I didn't even think about the discipline being part of that, but it's each one of those values. And my discipline was every evening I would go through different lists in my emails, in my LinkedIn, and I would look for people that I didn't reach out to yet, and I added them to my list, and that's how I got to this list of 500 or 600 people. Because I had
people. Well done.
Yeah, exactly, because I mean, to sell to 150, you have to reach out to a lot of people, because it's a lot of it is volume.
Oh yeah.
Because not everyone is going to buy, and that was really a discipline that I had. I didn't even think about it. I just did it because I knew I have to do it. So I spent like every night on that, doing that.
Yeah, big job. No, and the other thing that comes up there is, and why sales is hard, I'd say, for anybody, but it is infinitely harder when you're selling yourself. And because when you're selling yourself, you're doing two things that the human species finds very hard to do. One is asking for help, and the other one is putting yourself first, right? At least in that moment. And we're programmed to belong over everything. So don't ask for help. Don't say you don't know. Don't be a burden to other people. And so with everyone I've ever worked with, asking for help, everybody finds that hard. But so that can be the courageous part right there. And the other thing too is, if every time you ask for help, you're giving someone the chance to help you. And helping people feels good. So if you don't ask for help, you're robbing them of that chance to feel good and useful. But it's just good for everyone to know. Putting ourselves first and or asking for help is hard for everybody. But it means we live the life. If we don't do it, we live the life we quote unquote should live rather than the one we want to live.
Yeah, and this is also something that I have to remind myself many times, to ask for help. But I guess it's not just me, like you're saying. It's really
everybody, myself included. Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have recently, I don't know if you want to talk about it on the live chat or not, but you have a recent addition to your family. And so congrats on that. This is
Thank
really
you.
amazing. Just maybe a question about that. Was that also getting out of your comfort zone?
Yes. So
I don't know if you thought about it in that terms, but I'm just curious.
Of course I have. I do this for a living. Of course I have. Yeah, so definitely out of my comfort zone, and not in terms of having a kid and how much work it might be or how it might go. For me, when we're younger, we figure out how to get attention. So for me, I realized getting if I was kind of goofy or silly, I could get attention. If I was funny. But then I also got addicted to courage and doing scary things naturally. But I also realized that the more courageous stuff I did, the more people kind of looked up to me. So then, of course, I do a lot of that because without knowing it, I'm doing it because I want to be liked. And so for me, the scariest part for most of my life with the idea of having a kid is then I'm settling down, right?
Mm.
And I'm just like everyone else, and maybe I'm not that unique anymore. And will
You're not
people
achieving
think I'm,
yourself anymore.
yeah, and will people think I'm boring because I'm not doing all this other crazy stuff, which isn't a reason not to do it. So when I realized that I wanted a kid, and I just had those conversations of, I don't know, any hesitancy I have is just, it's the teenager in me who wants to be different. And that's
Uh-huh.
not a reason to not do something.
Hmm.
So
And you
that
know
was
what?
the courage for me.
Mhm. Yeah, sorry. I see, yeah, and that's really, really very interesting, because I don't know why, but for some reason, all of these examples that you're giving me, it kind of remind me of people working in the circus. And when you work in the circus,
Mm,
it's like a family thing where people have kids and their kids joining them and they become part of the circus as well.
right.
So, so maybe your kid, when she grows up, she will be also a courage crusader herself, and she will
Yeah, I hope so.
take take after you rather than pulling you to settle down, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I hope she will too. Obviously, she'll be her own person, so I hope she'll be a courage
of
crusader
course,
too. But whatever she is, will be fine with
yeah,
me. And then, like everything we do, it's how do we still be ourself in everything we do. So
yeah,
if one of if my values are like fun and adventure and all that, it's like, yeah, how do I do that with a kid, right? it's
yeah.
it's always about how do we still bring those into everything that we do.
But that also shows how dynamic life can be, because it's not like we have to be in one place to really live our values. We know life can change for different reasons. Yours was a happy one, and
Mhm.
a really great one that a lot of people are doing. Anyway,
Mhm.
most people don't even think about it. Like, is it going to change their life, or can they do? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people
True.
are doing it, but they don't have their value set up. They've not gone through this type of coaching, or even know what their goal in life is. Where
Right.
you do know all of this, it should be much easier.
Totally. No, the self-awareness, it's an absolute tragedy that this kind of self-awareness stuff, like values, life purpose, it's a tragedy that that's not taught in school. I mean, that should be like grade 7, like core curriculum,
Yeah.
because the more self-aware we are, the better decisions we'll make.
Yes.
And when we're making decisions that are good for us, we're showing up better for everyone in our life that we care about too. So no, it's always, we should never do anything ever that doesn't align with at least some of our values,
Hmm.
because our values represent the person we want to be. And whenever we do something that doesn't align with our values, we're not being true to ourselves. And that's usually when we let fear get in the way, but we're being inauthentic if we're not aligning with our values. And sometimes we have to put a value on the back burner. So, the first month with a newborn, I'm not having a lot of fun. I don't have no time for adventure. And my number one value is freedom, and I'm not getting any of that.
Mm.
But so that can lead to resentment. But instead, I look at it as, okay, I'm a kid. The first month is going to be hell. So freedom, fun, and adventure to an extent is just going to be on the back burner for a
Hmm.
month. So when we do that consciously, it doesn't lead to resentment, because
Mm.
I'm doing this for now. And then as soon as I get any free time, it's all going to be about fun and adventure, even if it's 15 minutes worth of time. It's even if I go around the block, I only have time to go around the block on my motorcycle, and that's what I'm doing. But it's just making those conscious decisions based on our values.
Yeah. So I hope I'm providing you a bit of fun and adventure in this live stream. I'm not really sure.
Of
I hope.
course, of course.
Maybe, do you have a way to think about an adventure? How to make it adventurous?
How to make this adventurous, the live stream? Cool. Just so, two ideas. One is for me to get out of my comfort zone. Actually, for most of us to get out of our comfort zone, it's there's vulnerability involved. So let me talk about that. What can I say that would be scary for me? Um, I'm writing. I've started writing a new book, and writing a book, as you know, is really. It's actually easy. You just have to sit down and do it, but it's
Yes.
making the time to do it. So I
Yes.
will commit to listeners that I will spend 2 hours writing on my book in the next week, which is way more than I've done in the last 6 months. So another way to make it adventurous is for me to engage you a bit more. So in terms of you writing, actually looking forward, not even writing the book, where you are now and where you are looking forward with the book, what does courage look like for you in the short term?
Yeah, so I have the discipline and the schedule from the program to edit it and all of that stuff. So that's fine. That should not be hard. The harder part is more to continue reaching out to people for engagements like stores, bookstores to read the book after it's public, to medias like newspapers, local newspapers, or other type of medias, online medias, to talk about it or write about it, the book. And then the last one to authors to read the book before it's published and get their statement about the book, so I can actually put it on the book. Endorsements.
Cool. Right. So stores, media, and other authors. Which one of those scares you the most to reach out to? I think I know the answer. Go for it.
Sorry?
Nothing. Go for it. Which one of those
So
would take the most courage?
I think it's all on the same level. I think that probably the authors that I don't know. So I reached out already to a few authors.
You can't see. I circled authors. Of course, yes, that's scarier. It would be for me too. Sorry, keep going. It would be scary for me too.
So I reached out to a few authors that I know already, so that was not hard because I know them. But authors that I don't know, and especially if I can find those that are in my genre, that will be able to spend the time, read my book or portion of the book. I don't know how much they have to read it in order to give me some quote for the book, and get those quotes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as a coach, I want to help you stay accountable. So what's the first step with that? What's the first step in reaching out to authors?
So to find the right authors. So start with a list of these type of authors. Find a way to reach out to them, like their emails or whatever it is. And then, start connecting with them, start emailing them.
Cool. So the creating the list, that research part, creating the list, how am I going to reach out? Absolutely. But that also won't be scary. So as you're doing that, I would recommend, like today, you reach out to one author. And pick one that isn't, you'll probably have a short list of the ones you'd really like to be involved. So pick someone who's not maybe on one of those short lists, but pick an author today and send it out to them today. And then do that other stuff. That's important too, create the list and the strategy. But we can sometimes get bogged down in the planning because it's not scary. So do both.
Yeah. Okay. That's
cool.
I'm done. Do you want me to see you so you can see that I've done
it? Yeah. Because then, all of our, and that is such a great trick. And I did it with my first book. I always say my first book because it implies I have a bunch more, which I don't. So with my first book, I was dragging my butt writing it. As you know, it's hard to sit down and make the time. And I posted on social media, hey folks, I'm committing to get my first draft done by June 1st that year. Who's willing to send me a message on June 1st and ask me if I've done it yet?
Yes.
So just like you're talking about now. So anytime someone else is waiting to hear, we're more likely to follow through because we want to look good and we don't want to look like a chicken. So yes, I look forward to being CC'd on that.
Well, I might do it as a BCC because I don't know if they
of course
understand who is that guy CC'd here exactly?
No, that's fine.
Perfect.
That still serves the purpose.
Yeah, no, this trick actually does work. I've used it before, not too many times, so but I've used it before. Actually, I wrote the book through this Nanowrimo, which is a National Novel Writing Month. I did it even before I met you. I did it in 2013, and one of the tricks there yeah, it's a month of writing basically a novel, 50,000 words. And one of the
Right.
tricks up there is to put to do it with other people and to have
Yep.
each one responsible for the others, so you kind of do it together.
Yep.
So I,
Hugely important.
I did it with my daughter back then. And you were talking about finding time to write. These days it's a bit harder because we don't commute, but back then I would write on my
Right.
phone on the way to work and back. So on the subway,
Okay.
I would just
Good
sit
for you.
down
Yeah.
and write over there on my little phone, and then send whatever I wrote. I send it to myself and edit it to the end of the. So that was my discipline, just to use that time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Discipline's key, and I kind of suck at it. But yeah, engaging other people is a great way. Yeah, it's a great way, and we need it. And if you don't, in my opinion, unless you have crazy strong discipline, if you don't need someone checking in on you, you're not out of your comfort zone.
Right. Right.
If you're out of your comfort zone, you need help. So do I.
Now, can I offer to check on you on your book that you're writing? You said you're writing a book.
Apparently, I'm writing a book. Surprisingly, not writing itself. At the moment, it's called "Be More Selfish," but it's a title that could change 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you could email me at the end of this week, and say, are you happy with how much time you've put into your book?
Okay.
And this for you and for other people too, we often put reminders in our calendar like do 2 hours of work today or do this, do that. But we all have an inner rebel that doesn't like to be told what to do. So always frame it as a question. And that's why instead of you messaging me and say, hey, did you spend the 2 hours? It's more, we receive it better if it's, are you happy with how much you've put into it? So
That's
always, even for yourself, like I don't put in my calendar, hey, work on your book for 2 hours today. I put in my calendar, how much time will you be happy with that you worked on your book? Because our inner teenager always wants some freedom in the challenge. It's ridiculous, but we all have that inner teenager that's like, oh, you can't tell me what to do.
And that
Silly,
and the
but
psychology behind this question, are you happy, is that it will kind of give you guilt, or is it going to just
No, for one, it gives you some freedom in terms of what that amount will look like. Like if I said, did you do 2 hours? And you write by, did you do 2 hours? My answer might be, no, you know what? I only did an hour, but man, I did the hard thing for an hour. So it was only an hour, but I'm totally happy with it. So it's just to give you some flexibility in defining what success is going to look like.
I see. So okay, so if you did an hour rather than 2 hours, but you're still happy with what you've done, then you achieve your goal.
Yeah, I mean, I could spend 3 hours on my book just looking at stuff online. That's not super productive. But if I spent 1 hour actually typing, I'm happier with that. So yeah, it gives you some flexibility, and you can't lie to yourself about that stuff. You feel it right away.
Right. Perfect. Okay, so I'll do that on Friday. Excellent.
Cool.
No, this was really cool. Catching up with you, Billy, and especially doing it live.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it's going to be also recorded and on YouTube. So
Awesome.
feel free to share it, everywhere, etc. I'm still also getting your. I don't know if they were weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly, or something.
They're whenever I get around to it.
Whatever you get around
very
it.
Often.
Some little challenges and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Right.
Good. I also put the website, your Courage Crusade website, so everyone should check it out. And your book, your Comfort Zone is Killing You, is available on Amazon, I believe, and other stores.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, just Amazon. Keep it simple.
So I recommend to everyone to buy it because I definitely learned the lessons from it. And even though I don't remember all the details, I practice it, and that's what's important, right?
Good. And even just the fact that you're still talking about your values and you're conscious of your values, that's music to my ears because that's the foundation of everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So really thank you for being with us today, Billy. And
Thank you.
again, congrats for your addition to your family.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
for hopefully the book that you're going to release soon, and
Apparently, yeah.
or at least right. And thank you very much for being with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Moshe. It was fun. Bye, everybody.